woman who's probably the most power-hungry woman in politics, and that is none other than Jill Biden. Former First Lady Jill Biden. You might remember her from her horrific outfits. You know, she was wearing a leather skirt and stockings and leather black booties. She was doing this like geriatric hooker look. Jill Biden. She is being talked about in this new book, and it's getting all types of reviews online. Let me read you a little bit about this book. So the book is called 2024, How Trump Retook the White House and the Democrats Lost America. Now, the book's written by a bunch of folks from the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, and the Washington Post, and they talk about how influential Jill Biden was and how insulated she kept the president. Now, we've known this for years, right? We didn't really need a book to see this, because what type of woman pushes her husband out on stage in that debate to humiliate himself? And I've said this since last summer. What kind of woman pushes her husband out there to humiliate himself in front of the entire world? So shame on you, Jill Biden. If you were a real woman and you really loved your husband, you would have said, you know what? You're not doing well. It's time to pack it up and go home so you can have some semblance of a legacy. But nope, Jill Biden, she's power hungry. So let me read you a little bit more. There was a near total ban on discussing Hunter, the journalist wrote in their new book, as Hunter's federal trial fell into the middle of Biden's reelection campaign. I believe that, probably did do a moratorium on Hunter discussions. Now, just as Jill jumped to Hunter's defense during the trial, she became the president's staunchest supporter following his disastrous debate performance against President Donald Trump. Now, the book alleges that she played the role of the protective spouse, encouraging the president to eat vegetables, keeping him on time, and questioning staffers when she felt they erred. Now, Jill Biden, I'm reminded of this clip after that horrific debate where she said, "You did so good, Joe. You answered all the questions." She really acted like this little school teacher. Why does she have to remind the president to eat his vegetables, to go potty, to drink water, to have his milk? Does he need a binky and a pacifier? That's who Jill Biden is. And it tells us what type of dire straits we were in the last 4 years. I mean, Jill Biden was running the table at these cabinet meetings. She was sitting behind the desk on Air Force One. She was effectively the de facto president. She was pulling the puppet strings, and she just wanted to get to election day and try to get Joe Biden over the wire. But the American people saw through all the BS and the lies, and they said, we've had it. We're not doing this anymore. We're not going to have a brain dead zombie president. So Jill Biden, she's going to go down in history as one of the most unlikable women, one of the most power hungry women, because she and Hunter pushed and pushed and pushed Joe to stay in the race. And it's also a national security issue. The fact that they knew he was not well, that he needed to eat his vegetables and be reminded to go to the bathroom, that's a national security issue with all the issues we have going on around the world. So shame on you, Jill Biden.